to start, we're going to get really comfortable in our chair. And if you can, have your feet on the floor, legs not crossed, just comfortably. And actually we'll start maybe with having our hands just hanging down at our sides and really just shaking out any sort of tension that we've picked up this morning. Just give it a little shake, just to loosen those shoulders so that you're not holding any tension in your shoulders. And then I'd just like you to just have your hands just comfortably maybe on your lap and just take a nice deep breath in. And just let it go slowly. Breathe out. So I'm just breathing in through my nose and out through my mouth. One more. In. Just let it out. Okay. And now just make sure that you're sitting really comfortably in your seat, keeping those shoulders nice and soft, making sure that you're sitting with your bum really just securely in the seat. It's really supporting you. And we'll just start. So I'm going to do 4 dots, 1 in each corner. And then I'm actually going to use my pen today to do my border, because I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a fancy flowy border. So I'm going to just come down, do a little loop and meet that dot. And I can do the same. Come down, make a little loop and meet that dot. And then come along, make a little loop, join to the dot. Come along, do a little loop, join the dot. Okay. And I'm actually going to draw my string as well with my pen today. So I'm going to come in just from one corner, and I'm going to start by drawing Flux. So I'm going to just come and do a teardrop shape. Okay. And then I'm going to just come out from that on one side and do another one. Make it quite large. Okay. And then I'm going to do a kind of little skinny one that's going to come big at the end and come down, and it's just going to bump into that other one. And then I can also have another one that's going to come out of here. And again, it's going to just come down, and I am actually going to bring that one down and in, so just sort of holly bow where I kind of think it's going to come out there. Okay. And if you wanted to, you could have just one more coming up the side here and kind of coming down in a little. Okay, so I've kind of got these little sort of flux balloons really. So in this in my first one, so you can choose any one, but in this first one, I'm going to do something that we haven't done for a little while, and that is our crescent moon. So I'm going to just pop crescent moon there. And I'm just going to start, and obviously this is an unusual shape, but that is absolutely fine. We can work with crescent moon in unusual shapes. So I'm just going to start right down at the bottom here, and I'm just going to do a little arc. And I know it's a tight corner, but that's fine because I can still aura around and imagine where my other little arcs would be on that crescent moon. Okay, and you just need to decide how many little auras that you want to put on that. So for now, I'm going to just leave that at 3. And then I'm going to do another little crescent here and aura that. And it will bump into the flux above, and that's fine. We just never go over the top. We'll always imagine that the crescent moon is going to be gone underneath. And I'm just going to turn my tile and do a little crescent moon on the other side. And then aura that. And as I say, I'm just doing 3 little lines at the moment. But yours will be how many lines that you want to have on yours. And just settle in, remembering to breathe, and just concentrate on that line that you're making right now. And when you start to do them and they're bumping into each other, what we can start to do now, I'm going to come back and I'm going to start doing another aura on my moons. I think I'll just get one more before I have to start doing bigger auras, because I'll kind of start to meet up, and that's fine. Just bring it round, and then now actually I'll be able to get one on that one. Okay, I think. But on this little bit here, I'm just going to start auraing the shape. So that would mean that I would be going along, following the line that my crescent moons have created. And just aura that shape, but not actually touching anything, but just aura in the shape. So you kind of build up this little shape inside within it. So I'm going to basically be doing a shape within a shape, because I'm going to just continue to aura that shape. And then you just continue oraing until you decide that you want to stop. And then you can just colour in the shape that's left in the middle. So for this one, I can just then colour this little centre bit in. Like so. Okay. And if you want, if you've got another little gap like this one here, I can also just do a little aura shape and sort of just colour in that little space so that I'm just leaving a line. So if you just see, I've just done a little bit of colouring in that little gap that's just been created. Okay, that's one we haven't done for a little while, the crescent moon. So then we're going to choose another one of your flux that you've got here to do our next pattern. And for the next pattern, I'm going to do the Keeko pattern. So that's the one that we've got basically 3 lines going one way. So I'm just going to start by doing 3 lines and then 3 lines. You might do 4, you might do 5. Actually, I think that for me it's going to be 4. So then 4 and then 4. And just imagine where, because obviously we're working within a funny shape, so we really just need to imagine where the line would be going to off the bubble basically. So if I start here now, I'm going to do 3. Well, I've done 4, haven't I? Mine are 4 lines. So then 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. And just carry that on. And when you come to the edge, you'll still carry the pattern, even if it's just a little bit of the pattern through. And you just need to just carry that through, filling up that flux with the pattern. And I know everybody does this one a little bit different. So it's always interesting to see what you're going to come up with. Bit coming off there. And as you move down the bubble, you might have to go to the side and just fill in where the pattern would be. Because with the flux, it's wide at one end and then it comes narrow. So just go with your pattern, how you've created it. We're just going to carry on, moving through, doing that pattern. Now when you get to the bottom, you'll just have a little tiny bit of the pattern at the very, very bottom corner. So I just hold that up. Okay, so that was Keeko, so I didn't show you that one, did I? Okay, so in my next little bubble here, I'm just going to come along and do like a kind of very slight wavy line, and then come up and just like so, because we're going to put some Purk, which is another one we haven't done for a long time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start, and I'm going to have little rows of these Purks. So I'm just going to start and fill the space here that I've created. So you'll start with one nice whole one, and then from then in there'll just be a little row of because obviously they're going to be bumping into the next one. So just imagine where it's going to come out. So as it comes around, it's going to bump into that one that you've just previously drawn. So each time you draw one, you're coming out from the previous one and coming round. So in case that's a bit tricky to see, if I do a really big one here. So you'll always start with one sort of wholesome kind of Purk, and then the rest will come from the previous one that you've drawn, and they'll kind of come round, and you can imagine that it's tucked behind. And it's like a row of pearls, really, I suppose is what it's supposed to be like. So you never see the whole of the next one that you're drawing because it's tucked behind the previous one. So it's coming round, and then you'll just fill in the little space then like that with your pen. But we're kind of gonna squish some in here in rows. And when you get to the end, just imagine where the last one's going to go, and then we'll just come along and just colour in just on the little spaces that we've left as we've created our Purks. Okay, and then I'm going to leave a white space, and I'm going to have some down the bottom here. So starting another row here. And just imagining what that would be like little peas in a pod, really. And then you're only going to actually get to see some at the end there. And then I'll just come along and just colour that in. Okay. I could actually have maybe a little wiggly line. Just have some more just peeking around on the edge of my Flux. And just colouring in that space. Okay. And I know I do say every week there's nothing wrong with having white space in your tangles. Okay. So I think in this big one we'll do the Shattuck. So I'm just going to bring in the different ones that I was doing earlier, just so you have a reference. Hopefully it's not too busy. Just let me move this up. And what I'm going to do, actually I'll just maybe keep one in so it's not all very busy. So in this one we're going to have to do our grid. And so it's a double line grid. So we will start with a line, and then you're just going to aura that line. Okay, and then you'll do another one. And then you probably, will I get another one? Might be a little bit tricky, but I'm going to just see if I would probably have a little bit of another grid for some half ones. See how we go. Okay, so on this one, I'm going to start in the bottom corner here, and I'm going to start with a little arc. Okay, and I'm just going to, and I have to imagine that this line is going further down here. So my arcs are kind of coming down, and eventually they're going to meet this edge. So I'll just imagine that I will stop, and then I will work now and do that way, just work out there, because I always start with these. Yeah, I'm going to go that way. So I'm going to come this way, and I'm going to arc round, and I'm back to the edge. So now I'm going this way, and just keep turning your tile so that it is comfortable for you. And you keep doing arcs until you bump into the corner. And once you've hit the corner, then you turn around and go the opposite way then until you bump into that other corner. And then once you've got to this corner, then I'm going to turn around and go the opposite way. Okay. And then, because this is starting way down here, I'm not going to be concerned about trying to match any patterns. So I'm just going to start at the bottom here and imagine that as I'm going along here, that eventually that line's going to have bumped into that one. So I'm going to come over here now. And I'm in the corner now. So I shall turn around and just carry that through now. Remember to breathe just normally. This is quite small little channel now that I'm just going to go along. Fill up, it'll just be little mini ones. Spinning the tile. Just move it so that it's comfortable for you. I think I'm actually going to just aura these little perks that I made. In this little sort of triangle space that I've created, I'm just going to do some 1, 2, 3s. So now just going to do a little teardrop, color it in, and then do 1, 2 little loop just to fill it in. If you want to leave it as a white space, that's fine. You can leave it as a white space as well. So I'm just going to aura the kind of triangle space like so. Maybe I'll actually leave it. I was going to do some 1, 2, 3s, but now it doesn't feel right. So I'm just going to maybe aura that again. Yeah, I'm going to just leave that as a white space actually. Okay, so forget about my 1, 2, 3s. Okay. In the last space, we've done quite a few kind of gritty patterns, so you can actually still do organic-y things within these fluxes. So in this one, I'm going to just do some little poke leaves. So I'm just going to start little tiny ones, I think. Let's see how we go. So I'm just going to start from the top, and I'm actually going to just work down. So I'm going to just do a little. And as you build them up, just remember that we don't draw over the top of any tangle that we've previously done. So just imagine where that little poke leaf is going to pop out or tuck behind. Okay. And as you come down, you can obviously start to make them a little bit bigger in your space. That's fine. But you just do what feels natural for you. Remember, just move your tile so that it is nice and comfortable for you. And the good thing about Pokeleaf really is that they kind of are a little kind of plant, and they'll just grow from any place, so you can kind of have them coming from any direction, and that's absolutely fine. And I'm just going to continue filling the space with these little poke leaves. One more really tiny one, I think, just squeezing in there. And then if you just want to go back up the top, you can add some more and then just start to fill in the space. So where there's any little gaps, you can start to colour those in if you wish, or add more poke leaves. So I'm just colouring in the space now. Just work your way down, just colouring in the space behind. Okay. And then just on the corners of my border, I'm just going to do some little tipple, just some little circles of different sizes, just go on each of the corners, just to kind of create a little sort of bit of interest. Okay, so I'm going to do one on that side, and just one on the opposite side, just different sizes of circles. Okay, just on that side, and then do it on this side. Okay, and then I'm going to do some shading now. So with my crescent moons, I'll probably just sort of go and I'm going to shade around the edge and then kind of shade up into the kind of first bit of the moon. So I'm just adding some graphite, which I'll blend out with my tortillon. So the shading, as I say, isn't about light and dark. It's basically to give depth to the tangles. So it's really to make them pop. So you're not really thinking about which way the light's falling. You're just kind of thinking, how can I really make this pop off the page? So I'm kind of just giving depth to the edge of the crescent moons. I don't know if I can get my light to change, sorry. And then on my Keeko, sorry, on the Keeko, I think I'll just basically choose to either shade a dam or, sorry, that's a Chinook on past. So I'll shade all the down and leave the ones that are going across. But you choose which one that you want to shade, so you might shade the other way around, and that's fine too. It just depends how yours is done, but I'm just going to shade all the down ones. And leave the across ones just, okay, and that kind of just gives a more of a 3D sort of effect because you've got this weave going on now with them. Don't know how to make my light change. Sorry. And then with the perks, you just want to shade one side of them. So either the left or the right. Just so that you've got like a little shine to it, because part of it is left white. Okay, so if you just do that on even those little tiny ones that you've done, just shade one side. Just so that they're still white. And then with our Shattuck, I think what I'm going to do is shade on the, so kind of go in and just pick where the direction changes and kind of create a sort of zigzag line of graphite coming down, just to really highlight where it changes, so that then hopefully it'll kind of pop out. Okay, so let's just do that. That kind of gives you more of a depth with that. And then finally on the little poke leaf again, you can actually sort of do shade in where the stalk goes into this little poke leaf to really give them a little bit of a definition, so you can kind of give a little bit of depth by just going along the stalk with the graphite, and also then again just choosing a side to shade on those. Okay, so just on the top, blend that out. And then if you want to just go down one side and just, obviously on the little ones it's a little bit more tricky without kind of completely covering them, but I've kind of made it so that they're popping because there's really definite white on those. And in this other space I'm going to leave that white. I like it just how it is basically. So I'm not going to do any more to that in terms of shading. So you've got plenty of little spots that you can put your initials. So I'm actually going to just put my initials into one of my little loops that I created on my border at the start. And now I really want you just to sit and have a little look. Actually I might shade in the triangle, just sitting and having a little look on it, just go around one of, yeah. And just really appreciate this little piece of artwork that you've created today. So just hold it at arm's length and just have a look, and if there's anything that you think that you need to add or change, that's fine. But really just appreciate that this is your little piece of artwork that you've created today. So you can just turn it around. And look at it in all the different directions, because there isn't any up and down with Zentangle. Okay, and then just on the back of it, we'll write your name, and then we're going to write today's date, which is the 30th of April. My goodness. And then we will work out what we've done today. So we did Crescent Moon, and we did Shattuck, and we did Purk, and we did Keeko, is it not something Pokeleaf? Okay.